You may have heard that one of the greatest fears that people have is the fear of public speaking. But why is that? Why is it so difficult for us to speak to a live audience or hit record on a video camera? In the next couple minutes, I'm going to share with you one big reason why and two things you can do to break through that wall. Now you got to understand that whether you're speaking to a live audience in a room, or you are hitting record on a video camera, or you're going live on Facebook or uploading a video to Instagram, every type of public speaking is a form of monologue, meaning that you are speaking and the audience is listening. It's kind of one way, if you will. But we were all trained from the very earliest of ages for dialogue, not monologue. So even if you took 1 or 2 classes on public speaking, you still spent most of your life relating to people in conversation, that is, through a dialogue. Now, what are the traits of a dialogue? Well, the way that we connect with people in dialogue is very specific. We connect with them by empathizing with them, by getting into their world, by showing interest into them. Some of the ways that we do that, if you're in a conversation with a close friend, you do this by listening to them. You do this by entering into their pain, into their experiences, their dreams, their joys. And you can do this even more or go deeper into that conversation by asking good questions. Now, even if it's not a great friend, even if it's a stranger that you kind of launch a conversation with in the grocery store, it might not be as deep as with a close friend, but you're still doing the same thing. You're getting to know them. It might be about the weather and their hobbies and maybe their work. You're asking questions and you're listening to them to show interest into them. And because of that, a dialogue is a give and take. Now, it's the same thing with any kind of public speaking, like a monologue. The way that we connect with our audience is still by empathizing with our audience. The only difference is there's not as much give and take. In fact, there's very little give and take because it's just you speaking to the audience. You can't ask them questions that they're going to answer. They don't get a turn. It's just you speaking. And so, the way that we empathize with them is different. We can't discuss with them in the moment. We already have to know what their pain points are, so that when we speak in a monologue, we can acknowledge their pain points, we can speak to their dreams, and we can show them a way forward. Both monologue and dialogues are the same in this regard. It's all about showing interest in the listener. It was Dale Carnegie who wrote the classic book on making friends that said, you can make more friends in 2 months by showing interest in them than in 2 years by trying to get them to show interest in you. It's just a very powerful tool. Most of our environments from an early age are geared towards dialogue. We just haven't been trained to give a monologue. And so if we're trained, we can find ourselves acting more naturally and being a little less afraid of it. It'll feel a little less foreign to us than a natural conversation. When you're giving a monologue, whether it's Instagram Live or Facebook Live, whether you are giving a presentation on a stage or you are in a client meeting, remember the same thing that drives conversations drives monologues, drives presentations, and that is showing interest in your people. The format, however, changes. Instead of being able to listen to them, they're now listening to you. So you've got to do your homework ahead of time by learning what their pain points are, by learning what their challenges are and their needs so that you can speak into that. If you can tap into the things that interest them, you've already got a leg up. And so, one of the 2 ways that you can start to learn how to do monologues or any kind of presentation better is simply by practicing, learning the methods. And I just gave you one. Just start to think about your audience and your listeners rather than just the things you want to say. What are their pain points? What are their unique needs? What do they want? And how can you help them realize that? How can you deliver that to them? If you start thinking that way, when you turn on that camera, when you go on Facebook, Instagram Live, whatever it is, upload that video, you'll be fast on your way to connecting with your audience. The second thing that you got to do is simply practice. The more you practice showing interest in others, the more this will come naturally to you when you hit that record button.